Alright, have a good day at work. What's wrong? Oh, nothing. Doesn't seem like nothing. What are you talking about? I'm fine. Then why aren't you out of the car yet?
I'm just so tired, man.
Oh, here we go again. Oh,
It's been
my
so hard
God,
going
every
to work.
time,
Do you
man.
even know how
You're
long
always
I slept
doing
last
this when
night?
I'm trying to drop
3
you off.
hours.
You can't keep
I couldn't
wasting my
even
time
mentally
like this.
prepare
It's
myself
too
for work
early
today.
for this.
I can't
Lynn,
even go
I
back in
gotta
there,
go.
man.
I
mean,
can't
we
do
don't
this
even have
today.
employee-only
Get out of the
bathrooms.
car, Lynn. Well, I just got finished with my shift. Now I can finally talk about today's topic. Jobs. Wait. Jobs? Jobs. Jobs? Jobs? Ugh, fine. Occupations. They're not fun. Well, unless you have a good legit job that pays well with little to do. And if you're one of those people, just, wondering if you're gonna, retire soon. I got a job at 18 working at a retail store. And as to not get my cheeks clapped by the company, I'll just call it the max. While I was waiting for the interview, I was approached by a lady who noticed me sitting in the front of the store. She ended up walking up to me and asking me if I was okay and needed any help. Of course I said that I was fine, but it was funny knowing that I was so anxious about the interview that someone acknowledged the look on my face, was concerned for my well-being, and asked me if I was okay. The lady was very nice to do that, I just didn't know I looked that terrified. But the earlier days of my job weren't too bad. I was in backrooms for the first 2 days and then had to get sent out to interact with people. An introverted artist's worst fear. Usually jobs would do training sessions and after like a few weeks, then have you start working. But for the max, nah, they didn't do that. The managers just threw me on the register and taught me while they were taking customers. I was taught the usual basic stuff, but I still had to learn most of the rules from my own observation and just ran with it. No one taught me how to put money on a gift card, but I was able to. By myself. Because I was scared to ask my coworkers. One thing about the Max is that there's never not people in the store. This picture is so funny because of how disgustingly accurate it is. We would have moments where the line is stretching out to the next store and other times where there'd be little to no people at all. But most of the time the store was a long line. Oh boy, aren't jobs so much fun? Even before the store opens, I would see middle-aged ladies waiting outside the doors, probably all teaming up to brainstorm new reasons to yell at the cashiers. I've heard from neighboring customers, because I'm just eavesdropping all the time, that they would drive 3 hours away from their home to shop at our store. Crazy. I was crazy once. Speaking of crazy, let's talk Karens. Because, of course, there's one. One day, a customer started to complain about a 3-piece set that had one piece of the set missing. I wanted to help the guy, but it seemed like he wanted to complain just to complain. He ended up getting me to call the coordinator of the store, and so I called her over. She showed up, and after a few back and forths, he ended up buying it, and as he was about to leave, he said this. I really like this store, but you guys have just lost a customer because this will be the last time I'm coming back here. And he just walked away. Wow. That man really had a way with words. I honestly can't express my disappointment. I mean, all I can say is, I don't give a fuck. Seriously, what's the deal with people believing that when they say you just lost a customer, employees will fall to their knees and drown in their own guilt knowing someone had a negative experience with their customer service, when in reality, the employee is working on minimum wage and is doing the best they can. Now listen, in some cases, customers do have a reason to be upset, whether it could be the result of getting scammed, unnecessary attitude, or just terrible service overall. However, we're talking about a guy who had the option of just putting it down and going to a different store. So yeah, customers can be annoying. And do you know what's even more annoying? Everything else they do. Hold on, I got a list. Let's see here. Oh my, oh man, this is a pretty long list, guys. Okay, here we go. Leaving items where they don't belong. There's a point where I can kind of understand this. Maybe you found it in a random aisle or you're running late, but still, it's not going to kill you to put something back where it belongs. Customers leaving shit in the store. I know it's our job to maintain the environment of the store, but there should be no reason to leave wrappers, coffee cups, and other items in the store when there are trash cans nearby. We've got plenty around the store. And this is basically the same argument, but the amount of times that I've had to clean out chewed gum in the fitting rooms is actually insane. You nasty fucks would take out your gum, stick it to the wall, and come out as if nothing happened. At least leave a piece of gum for me. I'll be a little less angry. Except if it's spearmint, you can keep that. Ooh, this is a good one. Parents letting their kids do whatever they want in the store. Please put your kids on a leash. Here, I found one for $20 online. I'll leave the link below if you want. I would have mothers bring their kids in the fitting room, and one time, I don't know who, when, or how, but when I went to sweep the last room, there were scribbles on the wall. Like, what the fuck? And a part of my job is to check the fitting rooms every hour, but since I was occupied taking care of all the customers, I didn't really have time to check the fitting rooms. I only had a broom, so I just left it there, and eventually someone cleaned bits of it off. So that room will forever be cursed by the scribbles of a demon child. Mother of the Year goes to you! And those scribbles will always be a reminder that maybe starting a family isn't a good idea. Okay, entitled customers. I had many instances where customers would refuse to obey the store policy since the world revolves around them.
Oh dear heavens, my lord, forgive me for refusing you to trespass the gates of the changing room with shoes that have the security sensors on. Even if I'm at a risk of losing my job if I let you through, I must do it for the customer. Remember guys, customer satisfaction always comes first.
Just gonna zoom through some mini interactions and then we'll get on with the final story. I had a couple returning a knife set, and while I was about to give them their refund, a random coworker from a different department checked the box, told me something was missing, and left. So I had to deal with not only calling the managers, but the angry customers getting accused of something that wasn't even true. Thanks for that. Had some guy come in, clearly drunk, wanting to return a suitcase, but the receipt was over 30 days. I told him that due to our 30-day return policy, I couldn't return it to him, so he ended up just buying another suitcase. It was funny because he was like, "Oh, dude, really? Man, that sucks. Anyway, another $300 down the drain." Another time I was in the bathroom. I can hear your thoughts from the other side of the screen, by the way. And some other person in the bathroom was on their phone. And while they were walking out, they just turned off the lights in the bathroom? What the f- Bro, I found it. My god. I had a lady buy some Tahini-style lollipops and she gave me one. I just wanted to shout her out because she was nice. But to wrap everything up, let me talk about a tale. A tale so gruesome and tragic, even the strongest men that roam the earth tremble in fear. A tale of the PP Man. On one stormy night, it actually wasn't raining, it was just dark. I had a closing shift that day, and it was the last hour before the store closed. It started getting pretty slow in the fitting room, so I was just winding down until all the customers left. Until I had a man show up to the dressing room. Very normal looking guy, nothing that made him look out of the ordinary. Had a few clothes, gave him his number, and continued to do my own work. Until I heard him say out loud,
Oh shit.
Pretty loud, but no one wasn't around, so I couldn't do that thing where you guys just look at each other giving the same "what the fuck just happened" look. So I continued doing my thing as usual, and I forgot about it after a little while. Until his wife or girlfriend showed up to check on him. He walked out, gave me the clothes and the number, and left. It was the last 10 minutes and no one seemed to show up, so I started to close the fitting room. And you know how I said earlier that one of my jobs in the fitting room is to clean the rooms? I grabbed my broom and dustpan and went into the men's room first. The very same room the guy was in. So I opened it, and there was a big puddle in the corner of the room. I stood in front of it for a second to make out what kind of liquid it was supposed to be, so I started to think, well, it could be water. I mean, people spill water all the time. But wait, he didn't have a water bottle with him when he went in. Oh! I took a closer look. Definitely looks more yellow than I expected. So I called my manager over the walkie, talking about a strange liquid. No response. We had a lot of other stuff to do, so I couldn't just leave it there. Thankfully, the fitting room had this powder that soaks up spills, so I dumped the powder over the yellow liquid and cleaned it up while looking dead inside during the process. So yeah, I may or may not have basically cleaned up a grown man's puddle of piss. I just don't know how that can happen. The only reason I can think of is that he could have had a bad bladder. Maybe it happened when he wasn't aware. That is possible. But then I'm guessing his lower half was naked and just let it happen? He walked out as if he had the most normal experience ever, probably thinking, oops, had a little accident. Oh well, that 19-year-old worker can handle it. And so of course I had lots of questions and wondering if I should have just stayed unemployed, but it's not like I can afford to quit the job. Oops, sorry. Me and my potty mouth. And you may be thinking, but you quit your job, haven't you? Well, this is funny. So I began writing this back in July of this year. Yes, that's how long it took me to make this video. I was still working at my first job, and while I was in the recording process, I actually quit that job and got a new one, so you guys should appreciate me that I didn't clickbait you guys even when I initially intended to.